never thought a simple camping trip would turn into a nightmare that still haunts me to this day. It all started with a desire for adventure and a love for the great outdoors. My friends and I, a group of 5, decided to escape the hustle and bustle of city life and immerse ourselves in the tranquility of the forest. The woods we chose were vast and dense, with towering trees that seemed to touch the sky. As we set up our tents near a small clearing, excitement filled the air. We laughed and joked as we gathered firewood and prepared for a night of storytelling and stargazing. But as darkness fell and the fire crackled, a sense of unease crept over me. It started with a whisper, barely audible above the rustling of leaves. I dismissed it as my imagination, but the whisper persisted, growing louder and more insistent with each passing moment. I glanced around at my friends, but they seemed oblivious to the eerie sound. I tried to focus on their laughter and the warmth of the fire, but the whisper continued to gnaw at the edges of my consciousness like a persistent itch. Unable to ignore it any longer, I excused myself and ventured into the woods, hoping to pinpoint the source of the unsettling noise. The darkness was thick and suffocating, swallowing me whole as I stumbled over roots and branches. The whisper seemed to lead me deeper into the heart of the forest, guiding me with its haunting melody. I called out to my friends, but my voice echoed back at me, distorted and unfamiliar. Panic began to claw at my throat as I realized I was lost, separated from the safety of our campsite by an invisible barrier of fear. I pressed on, driven by a primal instinct to escape the suffocating grip of the woods. But no matter how far I walked, the whisper remained just out of reach, a teasing siren song that mocked my desperation. Shadows danced at the edges of my vision, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that seemed to watch me with hungry eyes. I stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an otherworldly glow, the source of the whispered melody that had haunted me since nightfall. In the center of the clearing stood a gnarled oak tree, its branches reaching out like skeletal fingers grasping at the sky. And there, hanging from the branches like grisly ornaments, were the bodies of my friends. Their faces were frozen in silent screams, their lifeless eyes staring into the abyss with a haunting emptiness that chilled me to the bone. I staggered back, horror coursing through my veins like ice water as I realized the true nature of the Whispering Woods. It was a trap, a malevolent force that lured unsuspecting victims into its clutches with promises of adventure and excitement. And now, it hungered for me. I turned and ran, fueled by sheer terror as the whispering grew louder, filling my ears with its maddening cacophony. Branches lashed out at me like accusing fingers, tearing at my skin and dragging me back into the heart of the forest. But I refused to give in to despair. With every ounce of strength left in me, I fought against the suffocating darkness, clawing my way back to the safety of the outside world. And as the first rays of dawn broke through the trees, I stumbled into the clearing where our campsite had once stood, my body battered and broken, but my spirit unbowed. I never returned to those woods again, haunted by the memory of that fateful night and the whispered melody that still echoes in the deepest recesses of my mind. And though I may never know the true nature of the horror that lurks within the Whispering Woods, one thing remains certain: some nightmares are all too real.